What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Blue Podcast, episode 56, and today we're breaking down the New York Yankees offseason, Brian Cashman's press conference, and my reactions, and also my free agent targets for this upcoming free agency. It's a huge one for the Yankees. This is a Yankees team that, didn't have the season that us fans were hoping for. Obviously, they missed the playoffs. And you don't really hear that, around the Yankees. You usually hear them, they lost in the ALCS, they lost to the to the Astros and all this, and they took a step back. With a team that has one of the highest payrolls in baseball, they were unable to make the playoffs, and a bunch of other teams that had a high payroll, such as the San Diego Padres, such as the New York Mets. Those three teams had the highest payroll and they didn't make the playoffs. And it's tough to miss the playoffs, especially when you're a team that has such high expectations. And for the Yankees, they have a lot of work to do, right? This is a Yankees team that just doesn't have the roster right now. I don't think this roster is good enough to win a World Series or even come close. And last year showed it. Brian Cashman thought he had a team that can maybe squeak in the playoffs late because Judge is coming back and all that. But no, the season where Aaron Judge hit those 62 home runs, if you didn't have him in the lineup, you were missing the playoffs. Aaron Judge carried you to the playoffs, and then when he went ghost in the playoffs, that team went ghost as well. And I know that's a few seasons ago, but that's just how much Judge means to this team. And he's got to build around Aaron Judge. He's not done that. He's signed Aaron Judge to that 9-year contract, but he just hasn't built off that, and that's the problem with Brian Cashman. He thinks his team is super good when in reality it's not that good offensively. Pitching wise and bullpen, they're fine. I don't think this bullpen really needs much. Many new faces. I think they could roll back with this bullpen, next season and be perfectly okay. This bullpen is fine. I don't think this bullpen is the reason, why they're losing games. I think the reason why they're losing games is because they were only putting up 2 to 3 runs, and honestly, sometimes they would be getting no hit until like the 7th inning, and that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable from a team that has that, big of a payroll, and they can't get it done. They passed up on a bunch of guys. They passed up on Corey Seager, passed up on Bryce Harper. They passed up on all these big guys, and now it's really for Brian Cashman is what's next. And the reporters, I watched it all. I watched his conference, and Brian Cashman, he got really defensive in that in that press conference. He he blamed injuries, obviously, about how they were injured so much, and Aaron Judge's toe injury, and if he made the playoffs, maybe there were, if Aaron Judge stayed healthy, maybe they make the playoffs. But that's pretty much what Brian Cashman kept defending is injuries. And yes, that happens. Injuries do happen, and sometimes your big stars are going to go down. But regardless, your team without Aaron Judge wasn't built well at all. And that's why they lost so many games, and they were just above 500, right? Because this team is just bad. And I don't think Cashman's really made a good move for this team to make them better since actually bringing back their captain, Aaron Judge. Once in a while he'll find a pitcher, for the bullpen or something, but it's never offensive, That's the big thing with Brian Cashman. He'll find, some random, gem like Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes turns into a very good pitcher in the Bronx. Michael King as well. Wandy Peralta, looks good in pinstripes. A bunch of these guys. I thought Clark Schmidt looked better I don't think Clark Schmidt's going to be anything really, you know, like anything really like that, like top tier or just a star talent. I think he's just a good player, and I thought he had a pretty good season. I thought Anthony Volpe down the stretch, I thought he looked good, and we'll get into him later into this video. But fans are pissed. Fans are pissed at Cashman. They're pissed at Howe, and some are even pissed at Boone, which I don't really understand because Aaron Boone can only do so much. He can only, the players that he gets are the players he could put on his lineup card. And he was getting fed Jake Bowers, Billy McKinney, Willie Calhoun, and we're blaming Aaron Boone because he has Willie Calhoun too high or too low in the lineup. Well, regardless, we either put him in the 4-hole or lead off or whatever, they're still only putting up 3 to 4 runs. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, it is annoying and it's frustrating that we haven't seen this team get to the top of the mountain since 2009. 2009, the Yankees defeated the Phillies, and we haven't even gotten there, right? We haven't even gotten there since 2009 as well. You've had multiple ALCS appearances, and you've lost to the Astros, but you don't build on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you make it to the ALCS, and then I feel like the team just does worse the next season, right? Like the Astros, they are always in the ALCS, and quite honestly, they're always in the World Series lately. I mean, this was, I believe, the first time since 2016, maybe it was. Something like that. It was some weird stat that either the Dodgers or the Astros were in the World Series. That is just how good those two teams were. And, obviously props to them. They were two very good organizations, and they run their team well. The Yankees don't run their team well, and that's mainly because of Brian Cashman. And, you could blame Boone all you want, but, yeah, does he make, some bad decisions in the bullpen? Yeah. Managers are going to do that. Even the best managers in the league do that. Okay, they make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes as a manager. Okay, Brian Cashman made mistakes. But he hasn't, fixed them. Okay, yeah, you missed out on, Shohei back in the day because, he went to the Angels. Okay, let's try and make up for that. Let's try and get somebody that's good. But no, we're not doing that. All right, we're not going to do that. We're going to get someone who is mediocre and garbage. Quite honestly, garbage. And time's running out because when I watch that conference, it just feels like to me Brian Cashman is worried and he has no clear path on what he's honestly going to do for this team. He is stressing out. He's yelling at the reporters. He's questioning like, oh, we had all these injuries, all this and blah, and all this, and you guys keep coming to me with Joey Gallo and Sonny Gray, and look how they've done now. Well, you traded for Joey Gallo, and you traded for Sonny Gray, and there's no defending those trades really. I mean, it's just annoying because like it's just not good players. I mean, and then he went on to say how these players, it's hard to play, it's hard to play in the Bronx and all this and just more excuses. When you're playing in the Bronx, I understand, higher expectations, New York media, all of this. I understand that. But as a, I don't even want to get into that. It's just because it's just frustrating. Okay, yeah, they bring in all these players and they just don't perform because they're in New York. Like, seriously? What about the other big market teams? What about the Dodgers? Why don't their players struggle? All these top teams, why don't their players struggle? Why is it only New York? Why is it also only New York that all of our players are getting injured? They've changed, training staffs multiple times, and they still, get hurt consistently. They messed up Anthony Rizzo last season. They couldn't do his procedure quick enough, or whatever it was. But, we're witnessing Billy McKinney, Jake Bowers, and Willie Calhoun get a lot of at-bats on this team. That's just really just unacceptable, And the Yankees have a lot of, spots to be filled, and Cashman has to, this time address it. Let's not, say, oh, we need a left fielder, and then have IKF play a position he's never played in. That was horrible, honestly. That was probably the worst thing, one of the worst things Cashman has done, honestly. And he said it in the press conference. He says, we need outfielders, preferably lefties. Okay, that's cool, and now let's go get some. Let's go get some outfielders, and let's get some good ones. And I think the other thing that I laughed at, and I think a lot of Yankees fans laughed at, is Brian Cashman had to say this about the New York Yankees. He said, I think we're pretty fucking good, personally. I think we're pretty fucking good. And you know what I said to that? No, we ain't. This team is hot garbage right now. This team is bad offensively, and if you didn't have Judge, I don't even know what team you honestly are without Aaron Judge. Because Stanton isn't going to carry you to the promised land. Gleyber Torres is only going to do so much. Anthony Rizzo, we don't know how he's going to play next season. You just had your worst season in the last 30 years. It's unacceptable. 30 years, whatever it was. And, Cashman's in his own world, and he doesn't know what to do. I'm telling you that right now. Cashman has no idea what to do, and he's panicking. And, as a Yankee fan myself, I'm worried. I'm really worried about what this offseason is. Hal Steinbrenner said the Yankees are going to be active, but I feel like I hear that every offseason. They're going to be active. They're going to be in on all the good players, and then they don't get them. Right? They were in on Corey Seager. They were in on all those top shortstops really, and they didn't get one. And I know they were banking in on Anthony Volpe. Okay. Now what about the Bryce Harper? Why aren't you in on Bryce Harper? Oh, Brian Cashman said he doesn't fit on this team and he can't play first base. Well, what did he just do in the postseason? He fit right in with the Philadelphia Phillies, and he played first base. So everything that Cashman says is complete bullshit. But let's get into my targets for this offseason. This doesn't mean we're going to get them, or the Yankees are even going to be in on them. It's just some players that I would like to see the Yankees try and be in the running for and try and get them. And so my first person was Juan Soto, and I've already seen the news about Juan Soto not going to be traded in free agency in this offseason. Per Scott Boras is just one of the the main guys when it comes to free agency. A lot of people are repped by him, and I would have loved if I never heard that, and the Yankees were actually going to be in on him. And this year he said that he plans to be in San Diego, and the thing is with San Diego as well is the fact that they are also loaning. They are taking loans because they can't even pay enough of their players. So I question. This is not even just because I want because I want Juan Soto to be a Yankee. It's just if you're taking loans, why not trade him to a team, like any team, not just saying the Yankees, a team that can give you money back. Like you saw what the Mets did with the Scherzer trade. They gave him like 50, or whatever, how much money Steve Cohen gave him. The Yankees could do that as well in the trade. And, if they trade one of their top prospects like Drew Thorpe or Everson Pereira or, whoever. But I think Soto's an amazing talent, and maybe they get him at the trade deadline if he's made available. But our second player is Japanese starting pitcher Yoshimbu Yamamoto. And I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism for this because, well, he's another pitcher. And are we really going to spend a lot of money on another pitcher? And I think this is one of the main guys I don't know if I see the Yankees getting, but I also wouldn't be surprised because this is a guy Cashman has been heavily in on. He's seen him pitch multiple times in Japan. He saw him throw a no-hitter, and he was like front row to see it too. And, he's coming off a good season in Japan, a 17-6 record with a 1.16 ERA. Another thing is he also only allowed 2 home runs in 23 games played. But I think the biggest thing I see out of this is how is that going to translate to Yankee Stadium? Because Yankee Stadium is a hitter-friendly ballpark. But, Yoshimbu, his fastball, gets to 93, 95, and he's got a really good splitter. A lot of Japanese pitchers have a really good splitter. Another player we have is Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is a guy that... Sorry about that, guys. Nose is runny. So another player is Cody Bellinger. All right, Cody Bellinger is a guy that is coming off a really good season, but his previous 2 were not great. Even previously, 2020 to 2022, pretty much bad seasons for Cody Bellinger. But I think since Juan Soto not being available in free agency to trade, I think this is really a guy the Yankees could target, and this is honestly probably where they're going to go in reality. I think out of, Shohei, Soto, and Bellinger, they're most likely to get Cody Bellinger, I think. And, Cody Bellinger coming off a 26 home run season, 97 RBI season, and, he slashed, over 300 batting average with a solid Cubs team, but, it's tough because the big question for Cody Bellinger is, do you want to give this guy a boatload of money from a guy that's just coming off a really good year? And, I'm still skeptical, to give him the money as well. And I know a lot of other Yankee fans are as well. And I know a lot of Yankee fans that would want to wait a year to get Juan Soto. And I'm not in disagreement, though. I think the Yankees could do that. But you're also risking the fact that you might lose out on both of them. If Juan Soto ends up trying to, make, sign a contract with the, San Diego Padres, somehow if they create money like that. But, he's a high risk, high reward, and, if the Yankees get him, then he's an outfielder, and that would be good for the Giants. And our fourth guy is Jeimer Candelario, third baseman from the Cubs as well. He's a lefty, and, the big thing, this trend that I've been doing is Yankees need more lefties, so let's target a lot of lefties in this offseason. And, I think Candelario is a good player. I think, the Yankees weren't necessarily going to get him at the trade deadline, but they were definitely in on him. But, he's a player that you could, get at probably a pretty good price to play third base. And, it'll be interesting if they get him because, what do you do with DJ and what do you do with Peraza? I think if you do decide to go for Candelario, you're probably trading Peraza. That's just my opinion, and you're probably going to end up extending Gleyber Torres, have Volpe at short, and then DJ LeMahieu / Candelario at third. And now our fifth player for the free agent targets is Kevin Kiermaier from the Toronto Blue Jays. He was on the Rays, and this would be his, another team and another team in the AL East that he would play for. He's a very good defensive player. He's not necessarily known for his bat, but he could definitely get you. He could definitely get on base, but this is a guy that puts up really good defensive numbers. He's won a few Gold Gloves in his career, and with Jason Dominguez out, with that injury he suffered unexpectedly. I did not, know this injury was coming until I, saw the news, and he was having a really good start to his career. And, no doubt in my mind that he could come back, with the Yankees when, Dominguez is, better. And, he could definitely put up a solid season because when he was playing, he was very good, And, there were definitely some chatter. I saw that the Yankees were in on Kiermaier and they were going to, kind of sign him. But, nothing's close right now. And, Kevin Kiermaier said that, he wouldn't mind, I think, playing for the Yankees. But I think that conversation kind of, wasn't exactly like that. But he definitely, I think, said that he wants to stay in the AL East. And our final free agent target is Adam Duvall from the Boston Red Sox. Yankees taking a Boston Red Sox player to come to the Bronx. And this is a guy that I think could be a pretty good bench spot. He came off a 21 home run season. He was a pretty solid player for Boston. And why not get some more depth? He's probably honestly never going to see exactly the field like that. But he can honestly maybe DH when, Stanton needs a rest day, or, even honestly even play the outfield when, someone needs a rest day, or just come off the bench in a big spot that, the Yankees want to score some runs. And, he's a guy that could drive in runners, and that's what the Yankees need. And he has to score a lot more runs this year because, the pitching is not the issue. It's really the hitting. And I know previously I brought up Yoshinobu Yamamoto. When you see a guy like that, Yankees really like their Japanese pitchers. Tanaka being one of them. This is a guy, Yoshinobu, is a very good pitcher. He's only 25. Probably you're seeing like a 7-year, contract, north of $200 million. And I never know. Yankees could definitely get that contract done. And, that would be a big piece of the rotation with something looking like Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Frankie Montas. I know that there's some reports that he might be coming back and, maybe another starter like Randy Vasquez or something. I don't see Luis Severino come back. He just was not good enough this year, and best of luck to Severino in the future, but he stunk this year for sure. But, basically to wrap this up, our outlook, wrapping this thing up, is the Yankees got to get better this offseason. This team was very bad, and Brian Cashman had a lot of work to do for this squad. And this is a team that you make a few moves, and this team could be in the right direction. I thought, the youngsters with Austin Wells, Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, all those guys I thought had pretty solid starts to their Yankee career. Obviously, Dominguez being on the IL to start the year. I thought Austin Wells played pretty good, at catcher. I think you could see a duo between him and Trevino. You're probably letting go of Kyle Higashioka, which is unfortunate because I really did like, Kyle Higashioka. And I don't know what they're going to do with Ben Rotford because, the whole 3-catcher thing and personal catcher thing it's definitely interesting to me, but I think the odd man out is probably Kyle Higashioka. But hey, this could be a big turnaround if the Yankees make the right moves. I didn't mention Shohei in my targets because I just don't see the Yankees getting him because I just don't see Cashman going out and getting a big splash like Shohei Ohtani. But hey, if Cashman fools all of us and gets Shohei Ohtani, that'd be nice. But I just don't see it happening. Definitely, of course, I love, really like the support you guys are giving me. It keeps me motivated to make these videos all the time. Of course, it's going to be a long off season for the Yankees. Let's hope they make some good moves and actually make moves and be active like they said and not be boring and make no moves. Anyways, this has been the Inside the Boot Podcast, episode 56, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.